Hey, welcome back to the 1949 Willys pickup project. Working on bodywork, and we are back on the box. In the last episode, we fixed these cross members, fixed some rust spots on that skirt panel, and replaced this whole stake pocket. This episode, we're going to continue that work. We've got 3 more stake pockets that have some pretty good rust in them, and I'm going to use some parts from these other boxes. You can see down over there, I've got 2 more boxes there. One is pretty much cut up already, and I've been stealing parts off of those. And we're going to use this to try together some patches. So let's get going. I'm going to start on this corner. This corner's got some bad rust all the way from here on down to about here, and it wraps around and stops about there. So I think what I'll do is make a patch that covers maybe out to here. I don't know. Yeah, we'll make this patch first. Once I get this opened up, there's another piece I want to look at. I ground this off because I saw a little bit of rust, and there's actually a hole right in here. It would be nice if I could just lay a bead of weld in there and grind that smooth. So I think I'm going to try that, and I'll be able to see more of what's going on when I cut this open because I'll see the backside. All right, let's have a quick look at this. Yeah, I've got some rust to clean up. It's not that bad. And I'll have to cut a bit of the side of the bed just like in the front. So I'll cut that piece out and weld in a new piece of metal there. That'll take care of, you can see all these holes here. So I'll have to come all the way down to this spot down here. And then on this side, I think, and this is the stake pocket, if I clean up, that's what we're looking at right along here, right? If I clean that up on the inside too, I'm going to try to just lay a bead of weld in there and see if I can build it back up. I think I'm so far into this project that I'm at the point of no return. Considering what I'm seeing here, I probably should be looking for a 4th box, but I'm already started on this. I'm not going to stop now. I'm just going to keep patching. So I got a pretty big hole there. It's not a big deal to cut a piece of metal to go in there, but I'm kind of looking at this corner or this stake pocket. There's a lot of work getting this piece in. And I know some people would say don't waste your time on stuff like this, but I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to probably try to be very careful not to blow through this, but I'll lay a bead in here just to get it started. Maybe I'll come around the back then and lay some on top of that once I've built it up and see if I can kind of shape this back into something. Okay, I've been at this for a little bit, and it got a little crazy. Ended up just removing that whole thing. There were so many pinholes that I couldn't really work my way through there. When I tried welding into that spot, it just blew through everything. So I bent up a new piece. Again, I just took some metal from one of those box sides out there, just bent up another piece here because all it is just a 90. And so I've welded this in now. I'll cut it to lengthen a little bit. But now I guess next thing I'll do is maybe work on this back piece and fill that hole. and then we'll get this piece in last. So let's run out and grab some metal and get going. So this is just our rough cut, but I think what I can do is just leave this side alone and leave this alone. I'll mark the bottom here, cut that off, and then this edge out here I'm just going to leave on until it's all done and weld it in, and then I can just trim that off to match. I have it cut to fit. Got a couple of magnets in here, and I'm going to start by just tack welding a couple of maybe 3 spots on this side to get this locked in, and then start working my way around, make sure it's nice and flush. Right, the patch is in, got it welded all the way around. On this side I had to do basically some spot welds or plug welds, so I got all those done. Up around that floor is kind of tough because it is rusty, and I was having trouble getting that rust wire wheeled off, but I'll deal with the rest of that when I flip it over. But I think we got a good start on this. Now we're going to move on to the stake pocket repair. Okay, this is my donor pocket that I'm using, and I've marked my initial cut. I'm going to cut it large and then sneak up on it little by little until I have a good fit, and then I can weld it up. So this is my plan for getting this in here. You can see I've got overlap, pretty good overlap on both ends. I'm going to start by cutting through both of these on the bottom so I can see where that cut needs to be. Then I'll remove this, finish that cut, drop it back in so this lays flat, or at least closer. Then what I'll do is clamp it back up and go through both layers right here. And that should give me a good match. Okay, we got it cut down here and fitted up. Got a little bit of a problem here in that the flange on the original was about 2 inches wide, and this one looks like it's about 3/16 narrower. There's really not much I can do about that. Everything lines up in here, so I'm just going to have to live with that. It's not really a big deal. But now that I've got this clamped in place, I can cut through both layers here, and I should have everything matched up. All right, I got it all cut and shaped. Okay, let's get her lined up. It lines up pretty well. I'll take my time when I weld it. I'll probably plug weld over here first, work my way around the bottom, and as I go, I can hammer it into place and kind of clamp it and weld it. But before I do that, I got to get some rust converter on the back of this, and then I'll get some weld through primer on everything. I think we're ready to go. Did a little bit of trimming. This guy's going to fit right in there. So I just need to hold it in place when I start over here long enough to get it tacked, and then I'll kind of work my way around, try to get this as straight as I can. Apologize for the gaps in recording, but I thought it was easier just to get this thing done. My first mistake is I started welding in these plug welds before I realized that this whole thing was leaning over this way and I had a huge gap, so I had to cut them free and re-weld them. So they're just for now holding this thing in place. And then I was able to get these all lined up. This actually looks pretty good. That gap is nice. So now all I got to do is weld the full length and then grind that off. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here. Now, I'll be the first to admit I am relying very heavily on the grinder here to clean this thing up, and I'm sure I'll have to do a little bit of body filler, but I think I got it. I think that's gonna pass. This seems a little thinner than this, but it might just be because of the paint on this one. But yeah, I think that's going to be okay. So of the original stake pocket, there's just this thin strip here that was left. This is a new piece and this is a new piece, but all the rust is gone now. Let's move on. Get things spun around. We're onto the driver's side now. So let's start at the back, work our way up. This stake pocket looks pretty good. I don't see any rust holes. I see a little bit of surface rust here, but I think that's just surface rust. I think this one is really solid. So I don't really see any significant repairs here other than fixing these little bump outs here. I don't know what was bolted in there, but they're pulled out quite a ways. I might heat those up and just try to hammer them down and then just fill the holes with weld. And then like all of these, let's see if I can show you this. These spot welds have all broken, so I'll drill these out, clamp this up, and re-weld that. I think I'll have to straighten that out a little bit, but I don't think this stake pocket really needs much work. Okay, get these flattened out nice. I just need to weld both of those up. And then the other thing I did on this stake pocket is drill some holes and weld this to the side so that's not flopping around anymore. So with that done, I've got a little hammer dolly work maybe to get this straightened out. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Maybe I'll take a grinder and hit this a little bit, but I think this stake pocket is done. I've just got one left. Okay, so here's the game plan for the last stake pocket. Since I have a big rust hole here, it really starts up in here and comes down. I need to take care of that. I need to take care of what's behind it on the bed side that's rotted through. And I need to deal with this side. I think what I'm going to do is drill this flange out on both sides. And then what I'll do is cut here, maybe up to the top. On this side, I'll cut here, probably just a little spot there. Maybe I can come up to here, but I'll take that out. And then I just have to replace this right here. So we'll start by drilling these spot welds out. So this is how I like to drill out spot welds. It's a little tough to see them right now with this paint here. So I usually like to take a grinder and grind this off, and there's a little dimple with each spot weld, so it typically leaves a little bit of paint. It's a lot easier to see where they are once you get that paint down. Yeah, let's get in here and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a spot weld there. There's one there. There's one here. It's a little dark in here, but there's one right there. And one right there. So you can see those indents. Now I know where to drill. I rarely run one of these without the guard, but this is such a tight spot I have to get in right in here. And I also went to a smaller wheel. It's good to hang on to some of these wheels when they get down there, because occasionally it's the only thing that'll get you into those spots. and cut this inside piece out. And what this will do is establish a nice straight line that goes through here and tells me where to cut on the other side. All right, now we're on the other side. We'll finish this cut and take this out. Now we'll finish it up with the hacksaw. Bad pieces cut out now. Now it's just a matter of making patches. It'll be 3 patches. One here, one for this side, one for this side. So that's the stuff with the holes. The rest of it looks good. Let's make some patches. All right, we're coming back up out of the ashes. I got this back piece welded in now. So now I get something to work from. Now I can do both of these patches on the sides. Got both my patches done. Got this one right here. We got this one right here. We'll cut the top once this is in. I think we'll do that. Maybe I should cut it before it's in just to make it easier. Yeah, let's do that. Then I'm going to weld them in and we'll be back. One down, one to go. All right, that's it. That's the last of the stake pocket repairs. I'll probably have to still put a little bit of filler on there, but I think that's going to look just fine. Let's wrap this video up by putting the end piece on. So this would be the piece that faces the cab. It's going to go right on there. I finished welding that up. That's a piece in an earlier video that I had to make the bottom part because it was rusted out. But we're going to put that on, and then I'll be back to wrap things up. Okay, I want to close by showing you this. This was the box side off of the original box, and I've been slowly cutting pieces out as I need them for patches. In fact, I think the first piece I cut out was the whole bottom of this front for the box. So this has been good to have around, and I've got a couple more, so we'll just continue to use this stuff as I need it. So I think we're going to stop here. I've got all of the side pockets now, or the stake pockets, done. Everything's good and solid. So I think we're in good shape. The floor in this box isn't perfect, but I'm going to wire wheel it and just get a coat of maybe a rust encapsulator, and then either an undercoating or a rhino liner or something there. But that's as far as I really want to take the floor on this. So I want to thank you for watching. And if you want to see more progress on this, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll post up videos as I go. There are a whole bunch of videos in a playlist. If you look in the description down below the video, you can see that, to see how we got to this point. So again, thanks for joining me, and we will see you next time.